I was chatting away with this miner who said I could have any ore I wanted. I said, really? He said, sure, take your pick. So I did. Hello, welcome to episode 44 of Minecraft The Journey. Wow, it's getting interesting every time I say a new episode number. I'm shocked at how fast we're progressing through this series and how far we've got through. It's amazing. This is the Let's Play series that I'm playing where we've been upgrading a survival world through all of the different versions of Minecraft from the earliest development versions, and we'll keep upgrading all the way through to the current release, whatever that is, whenever we get there. Right now, I've been digging around in this little area here. If you don't know exactly where I am, we have been discussing this portal here because this portal connects back up to the original nether portal that we had, but it's a bit out of the way from where we live. I live through here, and it's very foggy. Is it like, have I just... Yeah, I must have hit the F key. The F key still adjusts the fog. So we live over here, and we've been walking back and forth through here until the last episode where we adjusted the nether portals and made them all work. But then I thought, why don't we just do something with this area? I mean, we've got a nether portal here now anyway, and it's a rather nice little area. You've got these massive cliffs here, as well as this little basin down here. Except I thought to myself, well, why not turn this into a bit of a mine? I mean, if we transform this area down here, the ground area, and then build some things around here as if some people were mining out all of the minerals and the resources and things like that and digging into the cliffside, I think that we could... That's a big tree. I think that we could do something along those lines and then potentially turn this into our main mining area as well. That is to say, so that we can come over here and go down and mine for ores and things like that. So I'm going to have a bit of a think about the layout of things up here and see what might work. Hello, chicken. Where did you come from? Ah, no, don't attack me. So here's what I'm thinking, okay. This is a bit of a valley that walks through here with these big cliffs on either side, and then of course these cliffs here on this side as well. Down here where this sand basin is basically where the main mine would be and the construction of everything. There'd be a mine going into this wall here and then digging in behind and then down into the ground. But have a look at this, as of course it's nighttime. If you go round to the back here, this is incredibly thin. I was hoping that this mountain would be a bit more mountainous, but unfortunately look at that, it drops all the way down. So basically this huge thing is about 20 or 30 blocks deep, and over here it's even thinner. So we're gonna have to work with that, I think, but I think it's still possible. So step one is I'm gonna remove this sand because that's a precious resource and I don't want to waste it. Then I'm going to start working on the mine. That was a lot of sand. That went so many layers deeper than I expected, in fact. If I come over here, we can have a look at exactly how much sand I collected. Maybe you could take a guess down in the comments as to how much you think that I dug up. Here's a hint. I went through 2 diamond shovels in order to get the sand out of that pit. But I've put it all up here in this chest, so we'll take a... Oh, lunch. We'll take a little peek. Ready? Quite a bit. 27 plus that many of stacks of sand. That's going to come in very useful for me as well, because sand is a resource that we definitely need. Digging this hole has definitely changed the landscape. Originally, my plan was to fill it all back in to approximately the level of where the sand is, but now I'm starting to think a little differently. Maybe if we shave this section over here back down and create a kind of rampway, a driveway that goes from up here down to the mine level, and we build the mine into the hill down here. Then we can use this area here to kind of put some temporary structures, put some logs up, put some dynamite, stuff like that. All things that are related to mining. And the mine entrance can be here. It's significantly lower down in the cliffside now, which I kind of like. We can bring it forward a bit and do some fancy schmancy stuff to try and make it look a little bit more like a mine, an abandoned mine entrance or something like that. Yeah, I've got a little bit of thinking to do to see how I can make this work. I've cleared a bit of space around here and I've worked on the uphill, downhill pathway section. Now this is made of gravel because it makes sense. It's kind of a gravelly mine, lots of rocks and ores going up and down. And what we're going to have here is a rail system, so I need to just actually mine a bit more iron because we're actually running low, ironically enough. And we're going to have some rails that run up and down this second block here, and you'll also be able to walk up and down from top to bottom alongside the iron and the mine carts that will come up and down here. And so up here I envision we will have some sort of loading area, maybe some ores will be stored here, definitely some mine carts and things like that, of that nature, mine type of things. And then over here we're going to have a section where we have the foreman's house and some other utility buildings and things like that that help keep the farm, I mean not the farm, the mine functioning. Now, as for down here, this is where we're going to dig our big hole. And I had a look at some of the mine shaft entrances on the internet of different abandoned mine shafts and everything, and they're all pretty similar. Basically, what they are is how many spaces wide do we want this? Probably 4, I would say. It doesn't really need a center as such, or maybe 5, because if we do want to have a minecart, we can have one on the edge. Let me get my logs out here. That's not 5, I know, that's 3. I was just pretend like these logs never happened. I don't want it to look too ridiculously wide, but I'm thinking 3 now, because if I do it like 3, like this, 1, 2, 3, then it's kind of a nice little snug mine entrance. It's big enough for a minecart to come in and out of, etc. Now, the other thing about mine shafts is that they often have wood across the top to hold the dirt back. Let's just put some logs across. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, in early Minecraft, we have only got uppy downy logs. There's nothing that goes horizontal, so you just have to use your imagination a bit. And so what I'm thinking here is that we might actually have some kind of a slant going on, sort of holding back the cobble a bit, like this. Yep. Oh, run out of cobble? Run out of cobble. Got cobble. So yeah, the idea being that, of course, the mine is digging in, and as we're mining, we're pulling back a lot of cobble and shale and dirt and rocks and things like that. And all of these need to be held back so that they don't spill out into the area where we're working. So something like this, really. And then I'll probably put some more across the top as well, just to make it feel a bit more cobbly. Let's just do this for the time being and see how that looks. Yeah, so the idea is that the mineshaft entrance is actually holding back all of this ugly cobble. Now we should be able to replace some of these with some things like stair blocks to give it a little bit more texture and make it look a little bit more jagged and rugged, which I think that's going to make quite a bit of difference. And one thing you can now do is you can now place stairs in little sections like this with another block on top, because previously what that would have done is it would have converted this block back to a cobble, which is quite annoying. So I'm glad to see that, that has changed. So if we put like that there, and maybe this one is recessed. Yeah. That's looking a little bit more textured now, a little bit more realistic, I suppose. What are you doing in there? Well, if you want to live in there, then that's fine by me, but I can't help you if you get stuck. Bye-bye, sheep. Well, we've been making some progress here. I've dug out this mine a little bit more now, and this is going to be the main mine. So this is the one that I'll probably use, and this will eventually go down underground where I will be able to mine up some of the resources that I need. But I've also been working over here. There's a little station over here in case any of the miners need to cook some stuff. There's some furnaces here and a chest with some of the items that they might need, some ingots and some coal. Over here is the second mine, and this one is going to be a new mine, so it won't go very deep, it'll just be for show. But look, they've already found some iron in here, so they'll be working hard to extract that and get it out ready for loading. Over here, there's a little bit more surface iron that they've discovered, so they'll be able to dig that up and get it ready for loading as well. Over here is the loading bay. This is where we're going to have several pieces of ore that have been collected throughout the mining operation so far. We've got some diamond here because, you know, why not? Got to show off the wealth a little bit. And we'll put a little bit more iron, and there's also a piece of gold that they've found down in the mine as well. So they're starting to stack that up, ready for loading, ready to bring that up in the mine carts or whatever up here. Now here is where we wanted to have our minecart. So I've got a little bit of rail here, and this is going to go, now I'm still going to figure this out, but the rail should flow up this way, and we should be able to have a minecart that goes up and down the rail, like so. And the rail will just go off here, up to this place here, and this will be a second loading, this bit, I mean, is a second loading area for probably where they'll collect it and take it off to wherever it needs to go. We're going to have to put a minecart there, but yeah, I can do that. Oh, yes, so this is the foreman's house or office. I'm not sure which, but the foreman is obviously in charge of the entire mining operation, so they get to work or live in lavish luxury while the other workers get to camp out, basically. So we've got foreman only. And what we'll do in here is we will put a few different decoration blocks, maybe a couple of slabs here to denote a, I don't know, section. And here we want to put up some bookshelves because this foreman has got a lot of reading to do. There's always stuff to read about when you're busy working in your mine. There's a lot of, you know, technical manuals and things like that. We also want to make sure that there is some chests here because, you know, we've got some important papers that we need to make sure we keep stored in here. We've also got a few iron pieces here. Actually, we need these because we need to make a minecart. So we'll put some more in there a little bit later. Maybe there's some backup rail. There we go, some backup rail, of course. Now, one other thing that this foreman's office is going to need is, I've got a couple here already, is a crafting table or a workbench rather, because you always need one of those. Whoops. Let's make that minecart. There we go. Oh, and one other thing. We want to have a few pictures around here. Yeah, that's okay. Just to make it feel a little bit more lavish, because that's not the right kind of picture for... No. This always takes a while, doesn't it? Okay, that will do. Yes, very, very religious foreman he is. So what will happen out here is, where were we? Minecart. Yes, minecart. We need to put a minecart. For now, that will do. Oh, okay. You can stay in there. You look after the minecart. One thing that I wanted to show you was these fence posts. I wanted to show you how to make fence posts in Alpha Minecraft, because the thing is, it's a bit tricky when it comes to this, and it's not like modern Minecraft, so we need to get rid of this block up here. Basically, the way this will work, let's get up high, is that in order to be able to place a fence post, you need to have a block underneath it. So to make a pole like this, it wouldn't normally be possible, because if I just get the fence posts and show you, I can't place anything on top of a fence post. It needs to be a solid block. So what I can do is I can place one on this solid block, get rid of the solid block underneath, and then again, we'll just do exactly the same at the bottom one. And look at that, we've made ourselves a pole. All the tricks of Alpha Minecraft. Now we have to replace this block like so, and get rid of that. So there we go, we've got the foreman's office, and we've got now a minecart, which the piggy's looking after, an empty loading bay, and all of the other stuff. So this area is starting to look like a real working mine now. I'm wondering if we can make a couple of tents for the workers to live in because, well, the workers unfortunately don't get the same level of luxury as our foreman over here. So they're going to have to rough it. And let's get some supporting blocks here. By roughing it, I basically mean they are going to live in a literal tent. So we can use the wool for that. Not going to be very big, and it's definitely not going to be very comfortable. In fact, that is a little bit too small. So maybe what they need to have is coming out by one more block. Like this. And we can make it... Yeah, that's a little bit easier to live in. You've got a little bit more room. I'll have to come back and trim all of the unnecessary blocks, of which I'm making a total mess of. Okay. Get up here and put one more on top. There we go. All right, that's looking pretty decent. And what we can also do is we can use the fence post trick to make a line. You can see that I'm thinking. My brain is working. Or not working. One of the two. Here we go. If we do that, we should be able to have... that's almost correct. We actually don't need the top one. That one needs to be part of the tent. There we go. Just get rid of these to clean it up inside a little bit. I think what we'll probably do is change the back so there's a bit of privacy. There we are. So the workers have a little tent to sleep in, and it's very, very cozy. I think what we'll do is we'll change the floor out to be cloth as well and put a torch in the back so they've actually got some light, because otherwise it gets very, very dark and the monsters come out and kill you, and that is not what you want when you're trying to get a bit of sleep. Okay, let's just have one last little look. Yeah, a couple of these around the place, and that's going to look pretty cool. But now we are basically done with just a couple of little tweaks left to go. First, I've extended these tents out by one extra block just to make them a little bit more roomy. I mean, the poor workers have to sleep in here, for goodness sake. They need a little bit more space than what they had. And they do now have a little place, a chest, where they can put their clothes or their mining hat or whatever they wear, their uniform, all of that stuff. Same over here as well. Now over here, this is the portal, and the portal used to be just up here, but I have now moved it to this spot here, and the portal is what the miners are going to use to transport the ores and the gatherings that they get from the mines through to the nether and then to wherever they go. Who knows where they go on the other side. So we need to just light this new portal, and we need to pop through and make sure that it's still connected correctly, because if it's not, well, we're going to be in for a bit of fun, aren't we? This looks good, and if we go back through to the other side as well. Yep, we've come out in the right spot, which is excellent. So now we can just leave that portal there for the rest of time. Now I've moved the processed ores up here because it made more sense that the miners would mine the raw ore and then process it and then bring it up here ready for collection and shipping. So that's what's going on here and why we have this stack of some diamond and all of the other good stuff. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, the workers are going to need a little campfire just to keep warm, because we know how cold it can get out here when they've only got tents for shelters, just the canvas, nothing more. So while the foreman is there basking in the opulence of the foreman house office thing, the poor workers are in those tents freezing. Piggy! Oh, I got into one of those little jittery spots. Oh, we lost a pig. Well, you know, they've got to learn somehow. Anyway, back down here to the bottom of the mine, we've also dug out a bit of this tunnel more now. The tunnel is what I'm going to use as my main mine, so it heads off that way, and then when it gets to the end, it just goes down, and I'll dig it down to diamond level and then start some branch mines from that point on. Over here, as I mentioned, we've got the unprocessed raw ore. At the moment, it's just iron, and this is what I've just collected from digging out the tunnels around here. And so the miners would then process this, send it up the top with the minecart system over here, and then it would get ready to be shipped, like I said. And this is the last little area where we need to make a couple of changes today. What I want to do in here is I want to store the TNT somewhere. Yep, that hideously dangerous TNT that we've got to be super duper careful with. I don't want to block the light source. Let's put another one there. Okay, there we go. That should be... Actually, we'll put one more here. Okay, that should be enough for... No, we'll put one... There. Okay, that looks like plenty of TNT to me. Now we want to make sure this is well protected, so... actually, I need to do this the old Minecraft way. Of course, how could I forget? We need to have a block here so that we can place our fences, because we want to make sure that there's no risk of anyone setting off this TNT unless they're supposed to. I mean, they're not really supposed to in here. This is where it gets stored. Let's put a guard fence here. Okay, perfect. You can see everything going on. And we'll just get, let's get a sign very quickly. I thought I had some on me. Oh, well. You do everything you can to prepare, but sometimes you just forget. Sign, and done. Okay. What should we say? Danger. TNT. That'll do. It's not centered, but that's okay. Maybe it could be centered if we just get rid of that. There we go. It's centered. Danger. TNT. Don't go anywhere near that. All right, so that is it. We've done the mine. I'm very happy when a build like this comes together because it's functional for me because I can go down a mine, but at the same time, the area now feels a lot more alive and a lot more lived in, you know, and I think that just makes all the difference. So that is the end of... Oh, there's a jittery block right there. That is the end of today's episode. So I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, then please make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe if you haven't already. Because I make great content, right? And you want to subscribe and get all of my stuff. Hit the bell button too, because the bell button lets you know whenever I post an episode, and that is really important. It really helps. Alright, well, thank you once again. I shall see you in the next episode, and until then, this has been bugmancx. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. Bye-bye.